So I wanted to show you our new wetsuit that we're calling the Ultimate Aussie, and hopefully as I go through this video it'll become clear why we're calling it that. Okay, this is the wetsuit in total. It is a 3mm suit. Now the neoprene that we're using for this, it's a medium density neoprene. So it's not as soft as, say, Yamamoto 45. It's more like a Yamamoto 39. It's not Yamamoto neoprene. It's actually a proprietary brand of neoprene. I'll do another video showing you the actual neoprene and the compression and all that. Okay, so 3mm neoprene. The suit has got this camouflage on the outside. On the inside it's open cell, so you'll see the open cell there. So you have to get you basically put a little bit of shampoo in a bottle with a bit of water, shake it up, and coat the inside of the suit with that. Now we had the option of going with titanium lining. We haven't done that for reasons which, I mean, firstly it's going to add to the cost of the suit. Secondly, it doesn't seal as well on your skin. So the whole benefit of using this open cell is that, yes, it's a pain to get into, you have to get slimy, but once you're in it, after you do that first dive and you push and the water pressure pushes the air bubbles and all the slimy water off, it basically sticks straight onto your skin after that. It almost forms a vacuum onto your skin, so you don't get any water flushing through. And that's really the benefit of these suits. Because you don't have water flow through it, they're incredibly warm. Okay, so what we've done here, we've used Suplatex, which is it's a pretty tough fabric. It's a bit like shark skin. We've used that here and on the bum and the beaver tail. And the reason for this is so that when you're sitting on the boat, or if you are sitting on the shore, you're doing a shore dive, maybe you're sitting on some rough rocks, you're not going to be scratching up the bum of the suit. The inside, just around the waist here, we have used double-sided neoprene. So this is the normal wetsuit that you might be familiar with. It's got like a nylon layer on both sides. The reason we've just put it here around the waist, this standard, two-piece wetsuit design, to take it off, you kind of cross your arms and you lift it up over your head. When you are putting your fingers in there and trying to get a grip and lift it, it's very easy to put your fingers through this open cell neoprene. It's quite delicate. So this at least gives you a something solid to grip onto, and it kind of limits the stretch a little bit, so you're not going to tear the wetsuit as easily. Some other features, so it's got this layer of I don't know what you'd call this, but like a lining. So a lot of wetsuits won't have that. This has got this lining all the way around, basically anywhere that there's major, I guess, major cuts. So where the neoprene's ending. And the advantage of this is it gives you a bit of protection. It stops seam splitting. Another thing we've done, on the end of all the seams, you can see that. On the end of all these seams, there, or anywhere that there's an opening, it's been stitched through on both sides just a little bit to stop that coming apart. Now what else can I tell you? So knee pads, same thing. It's got the Suplatex. Now you may have seen other kinds of knee pads before. The reason that we went with Suplatex, and I'll show this in another video, we could have gone with pretty much anything we chose. The reason we've gone with Suplatex is this is a material which it's not stuck on top of the nylon. It's actually stuck straight onto the neoprene. So what that means is that's not going to come off, which is good. It also means that it bends a lot. So when you sort of got that wrapped around your leg, it's not hard. It's gonna kind of conform to your body contours, so you're not going to end up with air bubbles on the side of the suit. And that's exactly the same logic here. On the chest pad, we've gone with the Suplatex. We could have used other materials, but this, because it's bendy, or because it's a material, it, if you move, if you kind of have to clench your body up to get in a hole or something, it's going to bend. It's not going to restrict your movement. Okay, so some other things about the suit. You'll notice that the arms they're kind of in a preform cut. Well, that's called a preform cut, and the benefit of that over just a straight cut, which is normally quite a cheap cut, because this obviously takes more work to get that right. When you're lying on the surface, the suit isn't trying to straighten out your arms. You're in a very natural position, so that's obviously a good thing. It's got elbow pads. If you're getting into clay holes or you're trying to sneak over a little ledge or something, you're often going to end up with holes on your elbows, and even more holes on your knees, so that's quite a crucial thing. What else can I show you? Okay, we haven't gone with arm or leg seals, and the reason behind that, again, I'll show this in a video where I'm sitting with the developers, and when we're actually doing the design for this wetsuit. The reason we haven't done that is because this is open cell, the whole wetsuit is a seal. So if you put this on properly, if you're fitted properly, that whole wetsuit seals onto your body. You absolutely do not need wrist or ankle seals, and all they're going to do is add to the cost. So we've deliberately not done that. It's got a double beaver tail here. Now, I've asked for this slightly longer than usual, and the reason being, I have a few other suits that I've purchased before, and they were too short, and for a guy it's quite painful. So I've deliberately asked for this slightly longer. It's very comfortable. I mean, this suit is straight off the rack in a standard size. It's a small, I'm a fairly light sort of bodied guy, but that fits me absolutely perfectly, which is quite unusual. Normally, normally off the rack suits you need a bit of tweaking. So we're doing that. We're also, and I think we might be the first people in Australia to do this, we're also doing a lycra top in exactly the same camouflage pattern, the exact same design. So now the purpose of this, so that's just lycra. It doesn't have any neoprene in it, I mean, apart from on the gun pad, just so it doesn't hurt your chest, but it's just a lycra top, so you're not going to get any warmth from that. But it's a full lycra top. You have a hood on it as well. You have the beaver tail, exactly the same design as the wetsuit jacket. So if you have to do a long ride out in the boat, you wear this, and then when you get there you can put your top on, so you're not going to overheat while you're on the boat. You can put the hood on. It's going to keep you out of the sun. That's above water. The benefit of this is, if you are diving, you get to the top range where you're starting to overheat in a 3 mil. So for a lot of guys it's about 26. I can go to probably 27, 28 before it starts getting uncomfortable. When that happens, a lot of guys will just take their top off and they'll just be diving in the pants. And of course, you have no protection against jellyfish. You are trying to go on coral, you're getting glazed up, and the worst thing is you're getting the sun and you have no protection on the sun. And as sunlight goes through the water, it I don't know why, but it seems to really intensify it. So if you're diving without any cover, you seem to get burnt really quickly. So this is basically, you take your jacket off and you just put that on, and it's the same as just wearing, the same warmth wise as just wearing the wetsuit pants, but you have protection from the elements, from the sun, and you're still camouflaged. And I mean, look, this is just aesthetic. We went with the same color. A couple of reasons. Firstly, because, well, the test we did on this camo, we thought it was the best camo. But also, if you're taking pictures, you're on the boat, it looks, it looks correct. It's not a mix and match kind of suit. So now down to the actual camo design that we're using here. If you have a look at this, there is a lot of kind of a blue-gray in this, in the color. It's very high contrast. So we actually came up with our own camouflage design based on a wobbegong sharks pattern. I I had pictures of that, of wobbegongs, and I got designers to copy that. And we've got one of the suits here. You might see it in another one of our videos. So we did one of those. We did another pattern based on an estuary cod. And again, I wanted something a bit more high contrast because we're often diving in slightly silty conditions, or you might be lying on the sand for big eye snapper, and then you might be diving on weed if you're in a kelpie area. So it varies a lot. So we went with this specifically because of the high contrast. If you watch some of our videos of underwater footage of this, you'll see how it just disappear. If you're lying still, you disappear on the reef. The blue color, I like that because it seems to break you up a little bit in the mid-water. And a lot of guys here, the diving style's a bit different to Europe. In Europe, you're normally lying flat on the bottom, you're not moving. Whereas here in Australia, we tend to dive down. You might be off the reef and you'll float there and wait, maybe make a bit of noise and see what comes out to see you. Or you'll be waiting next to a flasher waiting for game fish. So that blue-grey, if you think of any of the shark species, they all pretty much are that blue-grey color. And they're all hunting mid-water. Even a lot of the game fish, if you think Spanish mackerel or wahoo, they have a lot of that kind of blue-grey somewhere along their sides, and then obviously it'll be light. They have counter shading, so they'll be light on the bottom. So when you're looking up, when a predator's looking up at them, they kind of, they're not silhouetted as clearly against the surface. So we can't really do that as sparrows because we're not just going in one direction. We're going up, we're going down, we're turning. So we can't do counter shading, but this is probably the next best thing, which is having something that's going to blend you into the mid-water and having high contrast and specifically green for on the reef. If you think any living material, it's typically green. I mean, you just look around here, most living stuff, green in nature, green is a very predominant color. So that's why we went with that. What else can I show you? So the seams, all the seams on these suits, where there are points that are joining, I don't know if you can see that. I'll put some other high-res pictures up to show this. Wherever there are points where all these seams join, there's been a dab of glue put on top of that, and the purpose of that is it stops the thread unraveling. And I mean, apart from that, if you look at the stitching here, it's incredibly fine. It's tight. It's not, you can't get a grip and start pulling any of that off. If you've ever used cheaper wetsuits, or sort of poorly made wetsuits, I should say, the thread starts coming undone, and often where it ends or where there's a joint. Again, at the end of seams, we've got, these are the leg seams. We've got those on both sides so that you're not going to start splitting the seams. I will do another video on how to prolong the life of your wetsuit, and just a quick spoiler, it's got a lot to do with how you take it off at the end of the dive and then how you transport it. You need to turn it this way around. If you leave it that way around, the inside gets damaged. This open cell, you have to treat it very carefully. Well, I hope this just quickly sharing the design that we've gone with and why we've done what we've done, a bit of an explanation. I hope it becomes apparent that this is actually a very high quality wetsuit. In the video that I'll put up where I'm at the factory, I'm with the designers. I can't mention the brands of wetsuits, but there were 3 other major wetsuit brands, 2 of them European, which you would definitely know if I was to name the brands. So this is coming out of a top quality factory. We've sat with the designers, we've specifically come up with this design for the reasons that I've just talked about, and we went there also to get the best deal that we can possibly get. Now, you probably, well, you may not, but you may wonder how good quality is this compared to the cost. We've basically taken the dive shop out of the equation. So if you think of most brands of diving gear, there'll be the brand that makes the gear, and then they sell it onto a dive shop, and then the dive shop sells it on to the customer. We have taken the dive shop out. We only sell directly to the customers. So what that means is that, the margin that a dive shop would put on, that's not there. That's how we can bring a top quality wetsuit to the market, and we're actually bringing it in at a great price point that, average divers will be able to afford a absolutely top quality wetsuit.